What's up, guys? Eric Bright, Focus Fishing Guide Service, Table Rock Fishing Intel. Got another video fishing report for you for Table Rock. It is Wednesday, December the 2nd. I was on the water yesterday, just didn't get a chance to shoot the video. It was a long day, cold, blah, blah, blah. Didn't feel like shooting it yesterday, to be honest with you, so getting it done today. As far as our lake level is concerned, we're at 916.43, which now puts us about 1.5 feet high because the Corps does change the normal lake level to winter pool starting December 1st, so we're about 1.5 feet high. They're running some water. It's not crazy, but they're running a couple units or a unit all day long basically, and they are slowly dropping the lake, trying to get it down to 915. Water temperature yesterday, today, I've been seeing 55 to 57. It's both down by the dam and here in Kimberlin City. I know that if you get up in some of the rivers, get up the James, get up the Kings, and you will see cooler water. You'll see it in the low 50s, 51 to 53. So the water is definitely cooling off. These cooler nights and cooler days, for that matter, definitely cooled the water temperature off. The bite is good. Today was tougher than yesterday. This cloud cover just rolled in right as I was setting up the camera, so I'm sure they're probably going to bite a little bit better this afternoon with another front coming through and this cloud cover coming through. But we have been catching some fish, a couple of different bites going on. Best way to stay on top of that, of course, is to join Table Rock Fishing Intel and become a pro member. You get the daily reports, you get the weekly reports, you get all the maps, you get all the feature videos, you get all the instructional videos. We've done several instructional videos, and we've got more coming out throughout this month. And even though, you know, a lot of guys are going to the deer woods, or a lot of guys just quit fishing in the winter, we will continue to have new videos, new content for you on a daily basis, and we're going to continue to fish all winter long. So if you like to fish in the winter, you want to learn how to fish in the winter, join Table Rock Fishing Intel. You'll definitely get the scoop on what's going on Table Rock this winter. But if you're coming down, say you're going to fish the lower end of the lake, I basically have 2 bites, maybe 3 bites going on. Best bite right now on the lower end has definitely been a deep bite. Not exactly sure why we're not catching them shallow, but we're definitely catching fish out deep. Most of them are in the guts, the centers of the creeks. You can catch them both vertically and casting. As far as vertical fishing, catching them on the Jewel Scuba Spoon for sure, catching them on a Rapala jigging wrap, and we're catching them with swim baits as well. And most of these fish are relating to the shad, the tops of the trees. Overall depth is anywhere from 40 to over 100 foot deep, but the fish have been in that 25 to about as deep as 55 foot range. You'll see them on your electronics and be able to pick them off. You can catch them by dropping on them. You can also catch them if you've got live scope. You can cast to them as well. I've been doing quite a bit of that lately too. That bite is still good, but I'd say it's probably not as strong as it has been the last couple of weeks. I don't know if it's the fronts and everything else that's causing it not to be good. I can still catch a few doing it, but the vertically fishing has been better than casting to them lately. The other bite that's been fairly strong down there is still on a football jig, but you've got to have everything has to line up. You've got to have the right day, right conditions to really catch several on a football jig. Most of those fish are coming on gravel and rock mix points. Main lake seems to be better than secondaries. Most of those fish have been smallmouth, but again, if you have the right day where you got clouds and you got a little bit of wind, and especially a south or a west wind, you can catch them on the Pee Wee football jig, and bass whacker, Hail Mary, or touchdown have been the best colors, matched up with either speed crawl or beeve. But that bite has been a lot tougher than in the past few weeks. So not as good. Deep bites definitely been stronger down the lower end. Mid lake, where I am today, we can catch them deep here. That's what we did today. The few we caught today were definitely caught deep. Most of them caught vertically. I did have a couple of bites casting it, but most of those fish we're catching them vertically. We saw a lot of fish today, but we had a hard time getting them to react positively to the bait. A lot of them would run away from the bait, but we're catching them on a scuba spoon, the jigging wrap, catching a few on a drop shot rig, and catching them on a swim bait as well. Most of the fish are in that. The fish themselves are 25 to about 45 or 50. Most of them relating to trees, relating to shad in the trees. again, in the guts of the creeks. It's going to be kind of a recurring theme going forward. These fish have already started to move into a winter pattern, so that's where we're catching them. Have caught a few on a stick bait this end of the lake. Again, right now with this cloud cover coming in, I probably, even with it being a northeast wind, could probably go out and catch a few on a stick bait right now. The Spro mixed stick has definitely been a better stick bait than the mega bass so far. I think as the water temperature cools, you will see the mega bass start to be a little much stronger. The visual will tend to be a better stick bait, but now with the water still being in the 50s, these fish, when they are active, are wanting a bait that's moving a lot more erratically. So that's why we're catching them better on the mixed stick than we are on, say, a mega bass right now. And the jig bite's okay up here. Actually catching more on the spider jig around docks in the Kimberlake City area than I am the peewee. Not exactly sure why, but it seems like you can find fish relating to brush piles up here and up in the rivers more than you can by the dam. So that's kind of been, throwing the 7/16 the Pro Spider jig, matched up with a speed craw, Okeechobee Blue, of course, and Bass Whacker have been my two best colors on that. Go up into the James. Jig bite's very strong up the James. Jig bite, crankbait, stick bait. That's kind of the three bites that are going on up the James right now. Catching them on the Pro Spider jig, 7/16 around boat docks, around brush piles. Most of the jig fish have been in that 10 to about 18-foot range. Some days you'll find them a little bit shallower, but most of them have been about 10 to 18 foot deep, so they've not been real deep. Few up shallower around some of the boat docks, but definitely, the Ants Creek area, I've been catching a few around some docks there. Woolly, been catching a few in docks there. So it's in Cedar Cove. Look for those fish to be in the brush piles or any wood that's around those dock rows, and it'll be key. Crankbait bite, wiggle wart, rock crawler, curve 55. Those have all been working as well. More on the transition banks than on the true 45-degree chunk rock that we catch them on. And again, if you've got wind, especially a south or a west wind, definitely throw a crankbait because you can cover some water with it. You can definitely catch some fish on it. But they're in those transitions where it goes from bigger rock to smaller rock, not necessarily on the 45-degree chunk rock. And then the stick bait bite. Catching quite a few on a stick bait, jerk bait. Again, the Spro mixed stick has been much better than the mega bass so far. A lot of those fish are around standing timber, secondary points, rocky secondary points in Ants Creek have been pretty good, especially if you got a little bit of timber on it, and some of the main lake points that have got a little bit of timber on it. For the most part on the stick bait, I'm keeping the boat at about 30 and launching it up there towards the bank and working it back pretty quickly. I'm not letting it pause for more than a second or two in between jerks. So keep that in mind if you're going to go up the James and fish this week. White River, deep bite is really good up the White River right now. Catching them on a scuba spoon, catching them on a jigging rap, catching them on a swim bait, catching them on a drop shot. The same sort of deal. They're in the guts of the creeks or guts of the pockets. Some are even out on the main lake and some main lake trees. For the most part, these fish are 25 to 55. Doesn't really matter about the overall depth as long as you've got some cover form, some trees, and some shad around. You're going to catch some fish doing that. The casting to those fish in those trees has been a little bit better up the White River. I'm not exactly sure why that is. It may be a water clarity issue. It may be the way they're relating to the trees, but seem to be catching more like in Big Creek and Mill Creek up there by casting to those fish versus getting over top of them. Stick bait bite, jerk bait bite's been strong up there. Got a couple of guys that I talk to regularly that fish up there, plus I've been fishing up there, and it seems like that's where the best stick bait bite is right now. Again, mostly on the Spro mixed stick and mostly on steeper channel swing type banks with a little bit of cover. Again, keeping the boat about 30 to 35 and casting towards the bank and working it back fast, not letting it sit. Maybe a second or two is all longer. You're letting that pause. Catching them doing that, and you can catch them on a jig up there as well. Had a pretty good morning. It was late last week fishing a Pro Spider jig around some of the docks, basically in the Shell Knob area. Working those docks with brush on them. It was sunny, not much wind, and we caught him pitching around the shade of the boat docks and pitching into brush piles around the boat docks. We caught a few, not any giants, but we did catch a few fish doing that. some better fish, actually. Not giants, but some 2.5 to 3 to 4 pound fish pitching around boat docks. It just seemed like they moved up for one reason or another that day. Guys, we are in December. The bite's actually pretty good. Today was a tough day. I'm a little surprised. I mean, we had a pretty good day yesterday. Caught a lot of fish. Today it was a lot tougher. Actually stayed out after my trip and caught a few more just because I was kind of ticked off at how hard it was to get bit. And did catch a few more after my trip today. They didn't want it today. I don't know why it was, but they just didn't seem to want it. But we did catch a few, just not like we should have. But the bite will get better. This deep bite's going to get better. If you want to learn how to fish deep, now's the time to do that. If you want to learn how to throw a jerkbait, now's the time to kind of think about doing that, because that bite's going to turn on. That's going to get better. A-rig, I'm not catching a lot on an A-rig yet, but I know that A-rig bite's just right around the corner. So if any of those bites are the type of thing you want to learn, a couple of things you can do. Number one, join Table Rock Fishing Intel, become a pro member. We've got videos on some of that. We're going to have more videos on all of that as we go through the winter. It's a real easy way for you to learn that for only $45 a year. Plus, you can learn the lake all year long. Other thing you can do is hire a guide. If you want to hire a guide, give me a call. It's Focus Fishing Guide Service. You can reach me at 417-860-4743 or hit my website, focusfishing.com, and either shoot me an email or book online. Either way, I get back to you as soon as I can. Guys, thanks for watching the videos. Again, take a minute and check out Table Rock Fishing Intel if you haven't done so. Thanks for watching. Can't wait to hear from you. We'll see you.